When we talk about this U.S. Open at Pinehurst, I thought you guys might enjoy kind of wrapping up by taking a look at some key holes at Pinehurst number 2. And the first one for me would be starting early, where you heard earlier Graham Dillette was talking about probably the tee shot at number 1 is the only shot of the entire 18 holes where a player can kind of let up, where a player can breathe a little bit and not feel completely stressed over making sure that they're so exacting in what they have to accomplish at that point. Well, early on, the third hole at number 2, I think is going to be an important hole throughout the course of the tournament. It's the green that is particularly brutal. You just heard Carney talking about the turtle back greens. This one is the epitome of that. What makes it so challenging is that last time the U.S. Open was here, the USGA set it up so it was a drivable green if you want to take the chance. The problem is if you go long, you need to be a magician in order to get it up and down. So I think early on, from 387 yards when you play it at its breadth and width, the third hole is already a challenge. But the let up doesn't come anytime soon, because the fourth hole is also very difficult. This was once a par 5. It measures 528 yards, this par 4. And the tee shot really calls for a draw, and you're talking about an error. The players can do it, but you're talking about an error where the players are more comfortable with that power fade. But this one requires, if you want to be exacting, you want to have the best opportunity to hit a nice little draw off this tee. So keep an eye on the fourth hole as well. And remember, I just said hole 3 and hole 4, so no rest for the weary as you start out. We're not done yet on the front side. I think the 9th hole, which is a par 3, it's 184 yards, obviously a high lofted club for most of the players in the field, but it is exacting and it requires that you maintain the same. From there, I'm going to move forward to the 16th hole. Obviously, every one of these holes can be critical, but the 16th hole is a par 4 that measures 536 yards. It is long. There's a cross bunker that has to be negotiated on this one. And then, of course, the raised green complex only complicates matters even further. All of the greens here have their challenges to them. But this one in particular, because of its length, especially if you're coming in from in and around the rough, it's going to be very hard to hold that green. And then, of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the 18th hole, because it is an iconic par 4. It measures 448 yards, which isn't particularly long for players of this standard. But if you get it into the right side, it is really difficult to hold the green from that side. And what's more, there is a deep, ominous bunker fronting the right side of the green that if you find yourself there because of the angle that you're coming in on, it's really hard to get up and down. Remember when Payne Stewart won here, that famed putt that he made with the repose that now is a statue that's behind the green? He made that putt for par because he got himself in trouble off the tee, and that putt that he made was the one that secured his victory.